No one's on yet.
It's all right. I think we're all set.
What?
Information is right there. Oops.
They can click see more.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to see it too.
Okay.
Starting now.
Okay.
All right, I think we're live, but we are going to wait a few minutes for this to start.
Doesn't look like there's anybody on there.
It's all right.
Wait, someone just joined. Someone joined.
When they rewatch the video, they'll see,
Someone joined.
Tracy Moser.
First joiner.
Hello.
Hi.
I actually watched a video with Mrs. Moser earlier when he was teaching Hunter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Hey, Taylor. We are going to do a game here in just a second, so I'm glad you two are on here.
There's 9 people on here, Dad.
Oh, excuse me.
Right up there in the corner.
I can't see.
10 people.
Hello, everybody. If you want to drop a comment, say hello, let us know you're here. That way we can say hi to you. My name is Kevin. This is my son, Caleb, my oldest. He is 12, going on 13.
July.
In July. That's right. July what?
24th.
Oh, you remember. That's good. You've had a few birthdays now. Okay, so before we start this, I think we're going to do our game. So we as a family, the McIntyres, we love movies. We're a big movie family. I grew up loving movies. Therefore, a lot of the times we quote movie quotes to each other.
Oh, yeah.
So what we're going to do is we are going to quote some movies. Well, let's just say some of them might be quotes. Some of them might just be movies or characters in movies. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to challenge you as well.
Okay.
Okay, so don't answer if you know. If you know an answer, write it on or make a comment, and then we'll go through it. So here we go. You ready? I got my list here. All right. So this is, it could either be a movie quote.
Character?
We're looking for the character or the movie specific to this. All right. So here's the first one, right? Who wants to know what's around the river bend?
Oh, that's so easy.
Oh, is it?
That's so
okay,
easy!
hold on. Give it a second. All right. Let's see if anybody knows. I'll give you a couple seconds. Next one.
Wait.
Who said... I'll answer at the end. I'm going to give people a chance to catch up. All right, number 2. Who says inconceivable?
Such a dad.
Next one. Who has never had a friend like me? Do you know that one?
Yes!
All right. Do you see anybody on there that's got them right?
No one's commented.
Okay.
Wait, hold on, I can
you gotta
scroll
scroll down. Yeah.
Let's see.
All right. Who believes in a spoonful of sugar?
Okay.
Do you know the answer to that one?
Someone answered the first one.
Moser. Nice job. Nice job, Taylor. All right. So who believes in a spoonful of sugar?
Easy.
Really?
Oh, you want me to answer it?
Sure, you can answer him now.
Okay, Mary Poppins.
Okay, who has never had a friend like me?
Aladdin.
Who says inconceivable? What movie?
Well, that's the guy from Princess Bride.
Okay, and who wants to know what's around the next river bend?
Pocahontas.
All right, couple more here. Do you guys got those so far? I wonder if anyone has. Okay, maybe a little harder. Who is the enemy of Lord Farquaad?
Shrek.
Well, give him a second. All right, and last one. Who doesn't know the power of the dark side?
That could be a lot of people.
True. It could be, actually. But specifically, one person. Let's scroll down here and see if anyone got it. Ooh, Mary Poppins, well
Someone
done.
got Mary Poppins?
Spelled it wrong for sure. Mary Poppies? I like it. Okay. Welcome to Journey with John. We are doing Chapter 8. My name is Kevin. This is Caleb. We are the McIntyres, and we are super excited to be here with you today to talk through kind of the next thing of what's going on in John. Before we get started, I did want to make sure that I mentioned that if you are
new,
I think so. You can stay up to date with the bit.ly, bit.ly Connected VG. Also, if you have kids and they want to follow along, there are resources on the Vintage Grace website, so you can grab stuff for the kids there. Also, the middle school and high school students have their YouTube that they're jumping on, and life groups, which we'll talk about at the end. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned those up front. So, Journey with John, Chapter 8.
Mhm.
Thanks for joining me, bud.
Welcome.
I am really excited about this because I kind of feel like this is one of those times when Jesus kind of comes in and he kind of lays it all out there. He's been kind of dabbling a little bit. He's done his first couple of miracles. He's
laying out his cards.
Yeah, he's coming after the Pharisees really, I think, in chapter 8. He's not mincing words really. He's calling them to the carpet a lot,
Yeah.
and calling them out on who they think they are, and then telling them exactly who he is. He really brings it up. So it kind of opens up here with this scene where Jesus is back in the temple. He's teaching, and these Pharisees bring in this lady who's been caught in sin, right?
Mhm.
And I'm always curious as to why the Pharisees do what they do. And it's almost, they're obviously trying to trap Jesus. What they're trying to trap him in, good gracious,
Yeah.
right? If they really knew who he was, they would realize that's not possible.
Yeah.
So they bring this woman in. They say, all right, Jesus, this woman was caught in sin, and according to our laws,
We have to stone her.
she's supposed to be stoned. Which, what does Adam say?
That's tough.
That's tough, right? She's got to be stoned for her sin. And they kind of come to him and they're like, what do you think we should do, Jesus? And there are some times in Scripture where I think Jesus does things or God says things that I think we can get a little, maybe some inference, or we can get a little, add our own to it. And I get a kick out of this. So Jesus, they bring him in, they say, teacher, this woman has been caught in the act of sin, and the law says that we should stone her. What do you think we should do? And Jesus doesn't even answer him. He bends down and he starts writing in the sand. And who knows what he's writing? I've heard it said that maybe he's down there writing out everybody else's sin. That's Charles over there, blah, blah, blah. That's, Joe over there, blah, blah. Who knows what he's doing? He could be writing a note to himself like, stay calm. I'm going to figure it out. Right? Who knows what he's writing? But he's writing. And after a minute, he stands up and he says something super awesome. He says, let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone. So what does that mean?
Basically means if you are without sin, you can throw a stone.
Okay.
In other words, if you're God, throw a stone.
Okay, so he calls them out because they're there feeling like they're the ones being righteous, right? They're going to follow the letter of the law. They're going to do what Moses said. Hey, she did this, therefore we're going to. So they're coming to Jesus saying, like, basically, we're the righteous ones. But then he flips the script on them, and he's like, okay, righteous ones, any of you who are without sin, in other words, righteous, right?
Mhm.
Any of you who are without sin, go ahead and throw a stone, right? So now he totally flips it on them. He totally comes back at them and says, well, you said this is who you are, right? And then he bends down and he starts writing again. He kind of gives them a chance to mull on it, right? And what do we read? We see that one by one, these people started walking away. And I don't think it's by chance that he writes in here. When they heard it, they went away one by one, beginning with the older ones.
Yeah.
So the older ones, maybe they've lived longer, right?
Yeah, so they realize, I've not screwed up a lot. So.
Yeah, the older you get, the more you become aware. And this is my 2 cents. I don't know. Maybe you feel differently. Throw it in the comment. The older you get, the more you kind of realize who you really are, and the mistakes you've made and what you've really done. When you're younger, you're kind of gung ho and everything's fine, and you'll figure everything out, and maybe you don't realize yet some things. But the older ones start walking away, and they kind of set a precedent. And I think older and wiser ones start to walk away. Maybe some of the younger ones kind of go, maybe we should go too. And sure enough, everybody ends up leaving. And
Yeah.
what does Jesus
Basically,
remember?
he says, has no one condemned you? Or,
Yeah, he stands up, he looks around, and he's like, wow, empty crowd. Well, what's happening? And he looks at the woman and he says, hey, where is everybody that was condemning you? a few minutes ago they were ready to kill you. Now where's everybody? Do you remember what she says?
Jeez.
You can read it.
And, no one, Lord, neither do I condemn you. And then he says, go, and from now on sin no more.
Okay, so he looks around, there's nobody there. He says, hey, what's up? Where's everyone that was condemning you? And she says, there's no one here. So he throws out this huge grace-filled statement to her, and he says, well, then I don't condemn you either. Does he leave it at that? No, he says, go and sin no more. So he doesn't just leave the sin out there like it wasn't a big deal, right? Because the sin was a big deal. But he chooses to offer her grace, and then he also gently reminds her, don't do that anymore. Yeah. Now, here's a real question. Have you ever found yourself in a position where it's easier to look at somebody else's sin and condemn them from what they've done as opposed to kind of looking here? Yeah? I would say for me too. I mean, sometimes when you get kind of down or you start looking around too much, it might be easier to look and see how other people are living, see how other people are behaving, and maybe you get the, well, I'm not as bad as, Harold over there, but whatever it might be. And I think it's just a great picture that Jesus gives us here of like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that the sin isn't a problem, but we need to be careful how we're treating other people based upon their sin as opposed to making sure that we're aware of who we are and what we're doing. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So he moves on from that, and then he really comes at him a little bit, and he says, look, I am the light of the world. Now, I think the Pharisees might think that because they're following the law, that they're the ones that are giving the light per se. In other words, this is how you should live, this is how you should go, this is how you should act. And Jesus comes right at him and says, no, I'm the light of the world. If you follow me, if you listen to me, then I'll show you where to go. I'll show you what's up. I'll show you what's out there. And they kind of come at him and they're like, you can't say that. You can't claim that. Who are you to claim that? Who are you to say that your way or that you know what's going on? And Jesus responds to them because they start talking about their Father, right? And they're referring to God. And he says, you know neither me nor my Father. If you knew me, you would know my Father also. Yeah. What is Jesus saying here? Do you know?
Well,
what's he claiming here?
He's claiming that he's one with God. The exact same.
That's huge, right?
Yep.
That's
going to upset them. They're not going to be happy.
That's not like a small, kind of statement you throw in somewhere. Yeah. Right? Like there's no beating around the bush. He is here saying,
yeah, I'm God.
I'm God. If you knew God like you say you do, then you'd recognize me. But because you don't recognize me, or you don't know me, you don't really know the Father. Mm-hmm. Right? This is a bold statement. This is like he is coming at the power structure like fist up. Yeah. Right? Kind of cool. So he continues to talk to them about that and about being the light, and then he shifts again and he even goes farther at him, and he claims that not only is he the light,
but he's the truth.
But he's the truth. Right? And he says, this is a great line. He says this. He says in verse 31, if you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and
the truth will set you free.
Okay, so what does the word abide mean? Do you know?
Kind of like follow it, listen, kind of vaguely. I vaguely know what I mean.
Okay, that's fine. I would kind of put a little bit more onto that and say, live in it. If you will, live in me, and you will, do life with me, right? Then you will know my word, and you will know my truth, and the truth of who I am will set you free. Right? Not only now is he claimed to be God, I'm the light of the world, this is a big deal, but now he's saying, and every part of the truth is in me. And if you'll just live in me and with me,
you'll know the truth.
You'll know the truth. I mean, this is another big,
throwing the cards in the table.
Right? This is a big deal. This isn't he's not coming in saying, hey, gee whiz, guys, you guys are doing a great job. Have you ever thought about this? He's coming in saying, guys, you've missed the entirety of what we're trying to do here, of what me and the Father are trying to do
cop,
here.
Bad cop.
I think he's even coming in just fully, like I said. Okay,
Being very blunt.
very blunt. So then he follows that up and says, so if the Son sets you free, you'll be free indeed. Again, the Son. Now again, he's reclaiming that
He's God and that he can set you free.
that he can set you free. The law doesn't set you free anymore. The law doesn't take care of this. Now it's me, right? Another big, like, could you imagine if you were like not a Pharisee at this time, and there's like the Pharisees who were like, I mean, they're like the power.
Yeah.
They've been the
They've
power.
got the
And then
power.
you've got this guy Jesus over here. It's almost like this scene where people are like, oh, what are you gonna say? Oh, what are you gonna say? And they're like looking back and forth. And each one of these
Tennis
things,
match.
yeah, good. Each one of these, it kind of keeps saying these. It says many believed in him. Every time Jesus starts to talk, some people start to hear and believe the truth about who he is. And then I think it's kind of neat. One of the big things that he does here, at the very end, he goes after the real base of everything that the Pharisees hold to.
Yeah.
And do you know who was like the first
Yeah.
person, like the first real Jew?
Abraham.
Abraham. He's their guy, right? He is like the apex of the Israelite culture, right? And now they start getting into who was Abraham. And Jesus says something here. He says, what does he say? He says something about Abraham.
God were your father. Oh, wait, hold on.
He says something about Abraham, and they say, you're not even 50 years old. Have you ever seen Abraham?
Before,
Right? Like they're calling him out on that, right?
Yes, and then he says, truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was, I am. Basically saying, I've been here before any of you, and before the guy you hold basically highest in your social pyramid.
Okay. So he is now saying this
Again,
doesn't even count compared to
and
me.
again, he's still claiming that he's God.
Yeah.
Using that.
Do you know why he uses the term I am? Why doesn't he say before Abraham was, I was?
Because Abraham's dead, so that would mean God was dead.
Okay, so it's a present term.
Yeah.
Right? When he says I am,
It means, yeah, I'm doing this right now.
it's always, right? Like I've been here always. So even before Abraham, I am. It's a big statement. Again, now he's claiming to be God another time.
3 times.
It's a big deal. So what is their response? Kind of comes full circle.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to throw stones at him.
Now they're like, no way, dude! And they start coming at him, and like they just can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
Right? He is just gone too far. So they've opened this chapter with coming after somebody who they were
They closed it with coming after him.
coming after him, and their job, they want to stone him, they want to get rid of him, they want to kill him. He is upsetting the apple cart just
The
too much.
Pharisees are so worried about their whole power situation crumbling with him.
Oh, good point. So, I don't know. Maybe that rings for you a little bit, just in who this God is that we serve. Right? He's not just this guy who walked around and was a good teacher. Like, he is God.
He's being the Messiah.
He
Just
is.
like he said he
yeah,
is.
Just like he said. You're right.
Just
He
the
is
whole
doing.
prophet said he was doing.
He's doing that.
it.
Yeah, he is doing it, and he's living it out. And
They're
each
totally
time,
missing it.
each time he does this, people come to know him, and each time he does this, the whole culture of the Pharisees begins to just get more crumble and get more agitated, and then it gets to a point where
Well, they're just like, this can't happen anymore.
it culminates in what we'll find out in a few chapters, right?
Yeah.
In the life and death of Jesus. So, I mean, that's kind of a cool overview of John chapter 8, and we get to see
Jesus really coming at it.
really, really going for it. I mean, I don't know if you guys have, I mean, throw a comment up of something different too that you're seeing, or another way that's hit you. But I just love the picture where they start with Jesus calling them out on their own hypocrisy, really.
Yeah.
And then he follows that up by saying, look, don't follow that. Don't be that. Don't walk in the life that way. Let me be your light. Let me be your truth, because I'm God.
Yeah.
And
I am.
I am God. So, so that's really what we grab from John chapter 8. I mean, what do you think? I think it's pretty neat.
I saw this part, and it was, if God were your father, you would love me, for I came from God, and I am here. I came not of my own accord, but he sent me. Again, claiming to be God and God's son, but still rolled up into one.
Wow. So again, he's not mincing words, right?
Yeah.
He's really given. I mean, at this point, if you've missed it, you've missed it, right? Like if you haven't figured out who he is by now, there probably isn't a whole lot for you to go on, right?
You missed it.
You missed it. I like that.
Well, here it comes.
Good point. Okay, so let's see. I'm supposed to wrap up by reminding everybody that we've got John chapter 9 tomorrow at 12, clearly. We also have the elementary kids information on the website. So if you are looking to have your kids roll along with what's going on with the Journey with John, you can jump on there. The middle school and high school groups are still meeting on the YouTube channels, and then life groups. So if you aren't in a life group, we would love to get you connected so that you can have opportunities to talk with other people about what's going on in your life, about what you're seeing here, what you're reading here, what's going on the weekends, and just have people to do life with. So if you're not in a life group, join one. He said it. Join one, right? You can jump on the Vintage Grace website. We can get you connected with somebody, with a group. We can get you plugged in with people. Right now, most of the life groups are going to be on like a Zoom meeting or a Facebook meeting, but that's still awesome. You can still meet with people and talk and do life together.
It is
Wow. So don't pass up on that. Don't pass up on life groups. They're super important, and that's where we really, as VG, that's where we exist. In the best way of living out what God has called us to live, right? And walking with each other this truth, this walking with each other and knowing who the light of the world that sets us free. And then if you need prayer, if there's something we can do for you, if there's something we can help you with, if there's some way that we can be there for you, you can throw something up on the Facebook page, the email, or you can go to care@vintagegrace.org. And that will give you an opportunity to connect with somebody. Again, we'd be happy to pray for you. How can we help? How can we be there for you? How can we love on you? How can we get you what you need in a crazy time? So you know what? We didn't pray. We should finish our time together prayer. Caleb, would you pray for us and end our time together?
All right. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you that we could all come together and dive into your word a little bit. I pray that people would be able to enter into a time of there with life groups, and that you would help us get through this tough time of the coronavirus. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. And let me just add, Lord, would you please help us not to miss you and all the things that you're doing in our life, God, and all the ways that you're leading, guiding us and walking with us. Lord, help us not to be people who miss you, who don't see what you're doing, or who get so involved in our own life and our own stuff, or looking at other people's stuff and just missing out on who you are and the grace and the love that you give to us, Lord. Just like you showed the woman who's caught in sin, Lord, where you gave her grace. You said, hey, don't do that anymore, but hey, here's some grace. Lord, help us to be full of grace. Help us to be full of love and compassion for people, Lord. And we ask that you would help us to be able to see you in all that you're doing. We love you, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, thanks for spending time with us. We will see you guys in John chapter 9.